Welcome to Bears News Fan Report, your ultimate destination for the latest update, breaking rumors, and exclusive analysis on our beloved Chicago Bears. What I'm about to share with you today is something that has Bears Nation buzzing with a mix of emotions that I honestly never thought I'd experience in my lifetime as a fan of this franchise. We're sitting at the top of the NFC North. We're riding a 3-game winning streak. And now there's a development involving a certain quarterback that could make our path to an 8th victory significantly smoother. But before I reveal exactly what's happening with our Week 12 matchup, I need to take you through the journey of how we got here and why this upcoming game at Soldier Field carries so much weight for our season trajectory. Let's start with the elephant in the room that has every Bears fan cautiously optimistic right now. After Week 11, the Chicago Bears are leading the NFC North Division with a 7-3 record. Read that again if you need to, because it still feels surreal to say out loud. We just pulled off a last-gasp victory against the Minnesota Vikings, a game that showcased our resilience and our ability to win in crunch-time situations. This is the kind of victory that defines seasons, the kind that separates pretenders from legitimate playoff contenders. But here's where the conversation gets complicated. And here's where we need to have an honest discussion about the quality of our wins and what they actually tell us about this team's true capabilities. Our 7 victories have come against opponents with a combined record of 19 wins, 50 losses, and 1 tie. That's not an opinion. That's a statistical fact that we need to acknowledge and contextualize. We haven't defeated a single team with a winning record yet this season. Our schedule has featured matchups against the Las Vegas Raiders, the New Orleans Saints, and the New York Giants, teams that are clearly in rebuilding modes or struggling through difficult seasons. We lost to the Baltimore Ravens in a game where Lamar Jackson didn't even play, which raises questions about our ability to compete against elite competition. We gave up 52 points to the Detroit Lions in what was an absolute defensive meltdown. And let's not forget that opening week when we allowed J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings to mount a fourth-quarter comeback that left us all wondering what kind of season we were in for. So yes, we're 7-3, and yes, we're leading the division. But the true test of this team's mettle is still ahead of us. The schedule is about to get significantly more challenging, and we're going to find out very quickly whether this Bears squad is built for a legitimate playoff run or if we've simply been feasting on weaker competition. Which brings me to our Week 12 matchup that has everyone talking, and why there's a legitimate chance we could be catching yet another break in what's been a relatively fortunate schedule so far. The Chicago Bears are set to host the Pittsburgh Steelers at Soldier Field this week. The Steelers come in with a 6-4 record, representing exactly the kind of quality opponent we haven't been able to beat this season. This should be our opportunity to prove that we belong in the conversation with legitimate contenders. To show that our record isn't just a product of a soft schedule, but rather a reflection of genuine improvement and championship potential. But here's where things get interesting. And here's where I need to talk about a quarterback who has absolutely tormented this franchise for what feels like an eternity. Aaron Rodgers exited the Steelers' victory over the Cincinnati Bengals this past Sunday with a left wrist injury. Now, before anyone gets confused, let me clarify because I know what you're thinking. Rodgers isn't with the Steelers. He's with the New York Jets. The article I'm referencing has some confusion in the details, but the core information is what matters here. Rodgers is dealing with a wrist fracture that has his availability for upcoming games in serious question. And if there's one quarterback who has made a career out of destroying Bears defenses and crushing Bears fan spirits, it's Aaron Rodgers. Packers fans know this better than anyone. Rodgers has owned the Chicago Bears throughout his career in Green Bay. The statistics are absolutely brutal. He's posted ridiculous numbers against us year after year, delivered game-winning drives in the most heartbreaking fashion imaginable, and basically treated Soldier Field like his personal playground. There's even that infamous quote where he told Bears fans, "I own you," during a game at Soldier Field. That moment still stings, and it perfectly encapsulates the dominance he's had over this franchise for nearly 2 decades. Now, the possibility exists that we might not have to face him in an upcoming matchup. Depending on how his injury situation develops and when the Bears and Jets potentially meet, the injury he's dealing with is significant enough that his status is reportedly 50-50 for his next game. A wrist fracture for a quarterback is no joke. It affects grip strength, throwing velocity, accuracy, and overall confidence in making every type of throw. Even if he does play through it, he won't be operating at full capacity, which would give our defense a legitimate advantage we haven't typically enjoyed when facing Rodgers. Let me be clear about something. I'm not celebrating injury. That's not what Bears fans are about. And that's not the kind of energy I want to bring to this channel. But from a pure competitive standpoint, not having to face a healthy Aaron Rodgers is undeniably beneficial for our chances of success. Throughout his career, he's been the kind of quarterback who elevates everyone around him, who makes impossible throws look routine, and who has a knack for delivering in the biggest moments against our defense specifically. If we do catch this break, and if we manage to secure an 8th victory heading into Thanksgiving week, it would put us in an incredibly strong position in the division race. An 8-3 record would give us cushion, would give us confidence, and would set us up perfectly for the brutal stretch of games that's coming our way. Because make no mistake, the schedule is about to get real very quickly. We're set to visit the Philadelphia Eagles on Black Friday, which is going to be an absolute war. The Eagles are a physical, well-coached team with championship aspirations of their own. Then we have 2 matchups against the Green Bay Packers within a 3-week span, games that always carry extra emotional weight given our rivalry history. We also have to travel to San Francisco to face the 49ers, one of the NFC's elite teams. And we'll host the Detroit Lions at Soldier Field in what could be a game with massive playoff implications. That's a murderer's row of opponents, and it's going to reveal exactly what kind of team we really are. This is where we separate the pretenders from the contenders. This is where we find out if our 7-3 record is legitimate or if it's been inflated by a favorable schedule. This is where our young core of players, led by our developing quarterback and our improving defense, will be tested in ways they haven't been tested all season long. The margin for error is going to shrink dramatically, and every mistake will be magnified against this level of competition. But here's why I'm optimistic. And here's why I believe this Bears team has something special brewing. We're winning games in different ways. We're not relying on one single element to carry us. Our defense has shown the ability to create turnovers and make crucial stops when needed. Our offensive line has improved significantly from where it was earlier in the season. Our skilled position players are making plays in critical moments. And most importantly, we're developing an identity as a team that doesn't quit, that fights until the final whistle, that believes it can win close games. The 3-game winning streak we're currently riding isn't just about the victories themselves. It's about the confidence those victories build, the chemistry they create, and the belief they instill throughout the locker room. Young teams need to learn how to win, and we're going through that learning process right now. Every close victory teaches valuable lessons about situational football, about handling pressure, about executing when the stakes are highest. Looking at our Week 12 matchup specifically, whether we face a healthy Rodgers or a backup quarterback, we need to approach this game with the same intensity and preparation we would for any opponent. The Steelers are a well-coached, physical team that will test us in the trenches. Their defense is always among the league's best, and they'll present challenges we need to be ready for. This can't be a game where we assume anything or take our opponent lightly just because we might be catching a break at the quarterback position. If we can get to 8-3, if we can prove we can beat a quality opponent regardless of who's under center for them, it changes the entire narrative around this team. Suddenly, we're not just a team that beat up on weak competition. We're a legitimate threat in the NFC, a team that other playoff contenders need to take seriously, a team that could make real noise in January if we can maintain this momentum and continue improving. The upcoming stretch of games will define our season one way or another. We'll either prove that we belong among the NFC's elite, or we'll be exposed as a team that simply benefited from favorable scheduling. My gut tells me we're better than our schedule's strength suggests, that we have the pieces in place to compete with anyone when we play our best football. But we're going to need to prove it on the field, and that process starts with taking care of business at Soldier Field in Week 12. So here's my final analysis. The potential absence of Aaron Rodgers, whether in this specific game or future matchups, would absolutely benefit the Bears' chances of securing crucial victory. But we can't rely on opponent injuries or lucky breaks to define our season. We need to prove we can beat quality competition at full strength. The next month of football will tell us everything we need to know about what kind of team we have. and what kind of playoff run we're capable of making. I'm choosing to be optimistic because this team has shown resilience and growth, but the proof will be in the performance. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the Bears can maintain this momentum against tougher competition? Are you confident in our ability to beat quality opponents with winning records? How do you feel about potentially catching breaks with opponent injuries versus proving ourselves against full-strength teams? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below, and let's have a real conversation about where this team is headed. If you want to stay completely updated on all the latest Bears news, insider information, and detailed analysis like this, make sure you subscribe to Bears News Fan Report right now. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a single update, and smash that like button if you found this breakdown valuable. We're here every single day bringing you the most comprehensive Bears coverage on the entire platform. Let's keep building this community together. Bear down, always.